Hey there, Maricopa. This is Maria Poor. I am one of the Cultural Affairs and Arts Committee members for the City of Maricopa. And here today we have one of our local artists creating one of the beautiful signal box portraits. I'm here today with artist Veronica Lichtenstein, who created this beautiful mural. Veronica, what does this represent for you?
This is, when I was thinking about Maricopa and the kind of box I would want to paint, I just started to think about what's one of the main activities that people in my neighborhood do. And me and my daughter go bike riding all the time, especially around Halloween and Christmas time, to look at all the displays and to enjoy the weather during that season. So I wanted to make a mural of a joyful bike ride, and that's what it is. It's a blissful joyride. This is part of our Super Bloom, and this is actually this street on Honeycutt, which was just like a month ago, was all blown up with these yellow trees and the green pieces out there. So it's just one of my favorites because it reminds me of the amount of fun times we had together going bike riding every night.
And this piece directly represents you and your family life and your family together. Describe that for us.
Absolutely. Like we love going on bike rides and going around the neighborhoods. We love getting picnics. We'll pick up Chipotle and then we'll just, find a spot under a tree and just hang out. And it's one of those things where she'll want to do it every night and she gets to talk about the end of her day and open up, and it's just a really fun event for us to do. And I think as I've been doing this piece and bike riders have come by, it's been fun to see families together see this and feel like they're being captured from Maricopa.
What does it mean to you to have this gorgeous public artwork up in your city?
Just the world. I'm so excited. I'm excited to seeing the 9 other pieces that are going to be out there, just to see what everybody has and everybody's unique fingerprint and art, and seeing what they're going to come up with. I'm just excited to see more of this throughout the city because I think it just really brings out the community to life.
It does. Thank you so much for being a part of our public art initiative here in the city of Maricopa. Thank you so much for gifting our community with your talents. It's beautiful and something that people can really enjoy and last a really long time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to the program where the questions are answers and the answers don't stop. It's Maricopa's favorite game show, Permit or Not. I'm your host, Luis Vila, and I'd like to remind our viewers today that if you have any questions regarding any
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call to order the meeting. I'd like to have Pastor Rusty Akers come up to deliver the invocation, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be done by Councilmember Bob Marsh. Please stand if you can. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, Council. Let's pray. Father God, we're just so grateful that we could be here tonight. God, we're thankful for the freedoms we have in this country and in this city, God. We pray that as we just continue on during this holiday season, God, you just rain down blessings on us. Thank you for the people in our lives and the people we love. Give us a great Thanksgiving on Thursday. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Rusty. Thank you, Bob Marsh, for that. Roll call, Vanessa, please.
Councilmember Gettle.
Present.
Councilmember Learman. Here. Councilmember Manfredi.
Here.
Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Wade.
Here.
Mayor Smith. Vice Mayor Bidiello.
Here.
Vice Mayor, we have a quorum.
Okay. I would like to call up Luis Vila to acknowledge the Maricopa Leadership Academy attendees.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. I'm very excited to be here this evening to help welcome in our latest round of graduates of the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Academy. This was the 22nd session that we've held since the Academy began, and these 21 graduates joined a class of 355 who have attended and graduated prior. For those of you who don't know, the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Academy provides in-depth insight to our inner workings of our local government and allows our citizens to hear directly from our elected officials, senior leadership, as well as our public safety, learning about such topics such as the history of Maricopa, how our local government run, and regional issues, as well as economic development. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Daniel Whaley, who I'd like to recognize was very instrumental in helping us get this winter session off the ground. And if those of you who are listening would like to attend one of our leadership academies, we do hold 2 sessions every year in the spring and in the winter, so please stay tuned for those announcements when they come in the future. All right. So, without further ado, I'd like to call up our graduates. First, Sierra Turner. Arthur Bryson. Conda Curtis. Betty Willis. Ada Lau. Jill Hagner. John Candelaria. Dwight Jackson. Joan Moss. Joseph Kane. Kim Andrade. Joseph Thompson. Kenneth Gray. Deborah Gray. Kelly Anderson.
Tessa Milne. Ted Lindsay. Nicole Audens. Kimberly Myers. And Sarah Alexander. Sarah, yeah.
I would like to thank everybody that attended and took the course. You do learn a lot about the city, and you end up finding out things that you never knew. So I highly encourage people to come and join at the next session when they get it out there. You get to meet the council members, and you get to meet staff, and you get to learn a lot about the city. So some of the questions you have during the year, you actually end up learning beforehand what goes on behind the scenes. So thank you and congratulations to everybody. Give them one more round of hand. Okay, so next we'll have the report from the mayor and city council. Is there anybody who has anything to say? Council? Bob, okay.
So it's been 2 weeks since the last council meeting, and it's been a busy 2 weeks. On November 9th, the Maricopa Unified School District held its annual Veterans Breakfast. That was an emotionally moving experience. I highly recommend it. On the 11th, the Veterans Day Parade. I'm proud that the mayor and city council participated in that. I got to drive my sporty little smart car with a Vietnam War hero. 6 days before the parade, he had just been moved from his Maricopa area home to assisted living in Chandler. He said he liked it there. Really good food and lots of women his age.
I like him already.
On the 13th, Planning and Zoning Commission had 6 cases, all public hearings, 3 general plan amendments, and 3 associated rezonings. So they're busy too. On the 16th, I went to a statewide meeting of stakeholders in the project to raise the level of Bartlett Dam on the Verde River. This project will eventually bring more water to Maricopa and to Pinal County. Global Water was well represented there also. On the 17th, we had a lunch and learn at the Senior Center. The speaker was from J. Warren Funeral Home, discussing options we all have after we die. The good news that day is that starting in January, the door prizes at Lunch and Learn go up to $50. That's much better odds than Harrah's, by the way. On the 18th, Headquarters Cafe celebrated their 70th anniversary, so they're 50 years older than the city of Maricopa. On the 20th, the Senior Advisory Council held a meeting. They're getting their plans together with the city staff for the Senior Info Expo. It's a big deal in January. Much appreciation goes to Ron Smith, Travis Orion, Tom Rain, Carol Machovic, Joan Kozor, and the Senior Advisory Council Chair, Elizabeth Howell. The expo brings information and vendors together in the library, probably about 30 vendors, 45 vendors with information for seniors, and it's pretty heavily attended. More people than are in the room right here now by a factor of 5. So if you're a senior, don't miss it. Or if you're going to be a senior, don't miss it. And that's about all. Thanks.
I would like to join our council members that thanked our city staff 2 weeks ago for the Wild West Music Fest. I just want to personally thank you for that. It was hands down probably the best night for me in the past year. Our staff did an incredible job, and the entertainment was just top class, and so I just wanted to personally thank our staff for all the hard work that they did on that. And the Veterans Parade. It was really incredible. There were more people there to watch the parade this year than in years in the past, which is great to see. And then Leading Edge hosted a luncheon afterward. That always gives me a chill to be standing next to veterans doing the Pledge of Allegiance. It is just a really amazing experience, and I'm so grateful to our veterans. So thank you for everyone who worked on that and participated. I also wanted to just share the letter grades of some of our local schools, and the reason why that's important to share tonight is because when we look at the growth of our community and the economic development in our community, our schools are a really important factor in that. So I'm really happy to announce that Maricopa Elementary, Butterfield Elementary, and Pima Butte Elementary all earned a letter A grade. Santa Cruz Elementary, Santa Rosa Elementary, Maricopa High School all earned letter B. Heritage Academy, a charter school, earned a letter A. A+ Charter, Leading Edge, and Legacy Charter all earned a letter B. This is something our community can really be proud of, and I know that these schools are all striving toward letter A very hard. So I just want to thank our educators for having top schools in our community so that when we build our hospital and we have bigger companies come out here, people don't hesitate to move here because we have good schools for their children. So thank you to our educators for working so hard and having these good letter grades. I also just wanted to share that the Central Arizona Valley Institute of Technology, who provides education to our high school students, did some research, and they found that they needed to offer 3 programs specifically here in Pinal County, and those include welding, construction, and electric vehicle repair. And so starting next year, our high school students will be able to enroll in those programs and earn certifications, so when they graduate from high school, they can have a job right outside of high school. So I'm really proud of that. And then lastly, I want you to join me in prayer for a young teenager in our community that was in a car accident this week. His name is Amin Halbab. He is out of ICU and is doing better, but I ask that you join me in prayers for him and his family. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to acknowledge the Veterans Parade group that put together. If you notice the women who are participating in found in having that event take place, you'll notice that they were all under 5 feet tall. But they had a 1,000-foot program for veterans that day, and I was really appreciative of it. I really appreciate them allowing me to participate in the missing man table during the time of the luncheon. I really appreciate that for acknowledging myself as a veteran and acknowledging my service, and me having an opportunity to acknowledge missing veterans. That's all I had to do, Mr. Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Anybody else? So I'd just like to say the Veterans Day Parade gets better and better every year. The people that put this on, completely volunteers that put this on, thank you very much for what you do. It's a difficult job to put this together and have all those people with the floats and everything. Thank you. Again, it's a difficult job, and I want to thank you from the bottom of the heart to make sure that we recognize the people who gave us the opportunity to be here day in and day out free. And they gave us this freedom, so thank you, veterans. And if you're a veteran in this room, I do want to thank you, and God bless you for what you did and continue doing for this wonderful country. So I also like to thank PD and Fire. I got to ride on a fire truck, so it was kind of cool. And PD was there. Our chief was riding up and down on a motorcycle. That was kind of cool to see him out there working harder. We appreciate your time there. So also, I've been attending the Board of Supervisors meeting in the Pinell County. I would highly encourage you to go to a meeting. They have things on there that are affecting Pinell County, but the most important thing also is that things that are affecting the city of Maricopa, Hidden Valley, Thunderbird Farms. It's important for us to be knowing what's going on, what the county does, because sometimes their newsletter don't get translated to you. So I'd encourage for you to go to see one of the Board of Supervisors meetings. It's, you go for the first hour or two. It's about a 3-4 hour meeting. They cover a lot of topics, and I would highly suggest going to it and checking it out and see if it's something that you enjoy. So, again, that's all I have. Next, we'll have the report from the city manager.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate it. I have a few slides. I assume someone's going to pull those up real quick. Those recent graduates from the Citizens Academy are familiar with these slides. They saw them a week or two ago, so if you have any questions, we'll call upon a few of them to answer them. So be ready. It's coming. But, we often hear from people about why isn't the city bringing in this store, or why isn't the city bringing in that restaurant, or why isn't the city doing this or doing that? I'd just like to take a moment to remind everyone that cities don't do that. We live in a society that's called a free market, and business owners, whether they're regional, national, or local business owners, make decisions based on a myriad of variables. And for instance, what might draw one store is a completely different set of demographics from what might draw another store. And I tell some people sometimes, we're not Russia. We can't snap our fingers and form a store. We do believe in the free market and the free exercise of that market. We do talk about aesthetics and look and traffic patterns and environmental issues and those type of things. But the city is growing. And the biggest requirement of all of them that's all in common is population. So these next set of slides, and I don't know if is there a clicker up here somewhere, or I can just say flip. Go. I didn't mean it literally yet. Go back one. So I'm just going to run through a few slides. This is what we dubbed the South Bridge area, south of the overpass. And these are a few projects that are coming to this area. We'll start with this one. This is just south of the new Exceptional Health. This is going to be a retail office project. Now again, this is early conceptual drawings and they are subject to change, but this is in for application and review and will be moving forward in the coming months. That's just a prototype of what area might look like, again, subject to change. Some of their elevation shots. And then over here is the Thompson Thrift Project, which is 217,000 square feet. You see a large box and some smaller boxes and some retail pads. That's moving forward. The plans are in for the big box, as well as some of the little things are in negotiations, and we look forward to that moving forward. You'll actually start seeing some construction out there, particularly with the extension of Honeycutt, probably in January. Back in the corner, this is the Rainsman Commons, and you see kind of the square that's 55 and up housing, and then you have some market rate housing, higher dense housing back in that corner. To the top of it is the railroad tracks to give you some sense of positioning. The Duke's Roadhouse, which is the old pawn shop, that's been purchased and will become a I don't want to call it a steakhouse, but you will be able to get a steak there, but it will have a nice restaurant. It's being reconfigured. That's some prototypes of what it would look like once it's done. Very nice. It will also have music and entertainment several nights a week, and will provide some additional nightlife opportunities for our citizens. This is the Wells at Stonegate area, or the Walmart area. You can see there's a lot coming here as well. Bosa Donuts, Banner Physical Therapy, and Code Stone and Rocky Mountain Chocolate. You notice how we fit the physical therapy in between donuts and See, we're good at planning, making sure we address those things. But that brings some additional stores and opportunities and to our community. The Cove Stone, physical therapy building, Bosa Donuts. Slim Chickens opened just recently. If you haven't heard, they 183 stores in 3 countries. The biggest opening day was right here in Maricopa. 3,000 customers on day one. They actually listened to us, and we told them you're going to run out of food if you're not prepared. If you notice, they had a couple of freezers, big freezers out in the parking lot to make sure they didn't run out. My granddaughter said, I've never seen a slim chicken. They're always fat, but anyway. But it's a beautiful building, indicative of what our community is trying to be as we mature as a city. Tractor Supply will open they tell us, in December. Now, whether it's the 1st or the 31st, I don't know. But it was scheduled to open. If you haven't seen it, it's tucked back behind, but close to the Walmart. Their elevation drawings. Burger King. The good thing about Burger King is it brings some food eateries out to this side of town for those who live in Tortosa and others. And everything that's happening in Walmart will begin to change travel patterns. So vehicles that used to drive and populate the streets going into John Wayne won't have to do that. And actually, you'll see, as this area develops, a decrease in some traffic. And as development occurs even further to the east, and there's projects being talked about as far out as Hartman Road now, that again will change traffic patterns to everyone's benefit. So the Burger King design, Taco Bell is coming out there. If you hear a big gong, you'll know what it is. This is the village of Stonegate. This is a higher dense townhomes, but this is owner occupied. We have a lot of people that say, I want to get out of my 3 to 5 bedroom house. I'm an empty nester or whatever. These will be units that will be owner occupied. And they're attractive as well. Home Depot, you've heard about. They're on their 3rd and I hope final round of comments and should start going up, we think, maybe December, 1st year more likely. Their typical facade. Now, just to the west on the frontage of Maricopa-Casa Grande Highway, Home Depot actually purchased all that land. Now, you need to understand, you can imagine how many Home Depots there are in North America. This is the only time they've ever bought excess land. And they bought it at a premier price because they knew they could sell it to other users. And you can tell by looking at it that there's 5 pads, and we don't know who yet, but we will know soon. They tell me that they have people already interested in all 5 of those pads. So that's additional opportunity for the city and people in this part of town. This is Edison Point. As you know, if you've been out there, the new Petco is now open. Nectar is open. Nando's will be opening, I think, in January, I think they said. If you haven't been there, it's a family-owned, but this is restaurant number 5. I've been to the one in Queen Creek. It's very nice family sit-down restaurant. Petco is open. Nectar, if you haven't been to Nectar, it's open. GNC is either open or about to open. And then on John Wayne, we have 2 coming in. Well, actually just 1. Carl's Jr., they left, and they realized the grass wasn't green on the other side, so they're coming back. And unfortunately, Angie's Lobsters has withdrawn their application for now. But we understand they have a new store called Angie's Prime that does lobster and steak. So we're hoping that's the reason, but I don't know for sure. Lobster and steak, little surf and turf thing going on. Carl's Jr. Now, the Sonoran Desert Parkway, we've heard people say that's the road to nowhere. It doesn't look like the road to nowhere to me. And this is actually part of the Regional Transportation Corridor, which all of our citizens, as well as all the citizens in Pinal County, voted on and approved. And ultimately, this parkway will go all the way to I-10. So it'll provide a nice in and out corridor. But just within this stretch that we have built as a city, the Avalea mixed use, which if you look at the part, that's about 800,000 square feet of future retail. which might be exciting for us, along with some traditional housing. This is a new housing project called El Rancho, and if you haven't been out there, they've already cut in the roads and dirt. That's moving forward very quickly. This is Kelly Ranch, kitty corner from the Walmart. This is Stagecoach Springs, which goes to the east of Porter and begins to fill in up into the canal. Iron Point, also just south of the railroad tracks. And then Seven Ranches. We worked for a number of years with the Seven Ranches Water Improvement District. We were able to work with them because they really didn't have enough water supply. But that's now been resolved, and you can see this is blossoming very quickly, this island out in the middle. So U-Haul is coming. Doesn't look like your typical U-Haul because they will have some regional offices, corporate offices in there, not just a bunch of trucks and trailers. That's their footprint. Christ Church of the Valley, you may have seen under construction. Good thing is they're bringing additional soccer fields and outdoor volleyball and basketball courts that they've indicated they're willing to work with the community to enjoy and participate with. There's their elevation. Gunsmoke multifamily, which actually was approved several years ago, has been purchased, and they're eliminating most of their, not all of them, but most of their one bedrooms and doing more 3 bedrooms because demographics have changed. And these are single family for rent product. We also have a small independent storage company coming in. This is a private, I think it's their first, it's not a part of a chain. New car wash coming over behind the Circle K, credit union bank, and that's so. By no means is that everything. I would say that within the next 12 months, you'll probably see about 500,000 square feet of retail popping up. And in the year after that, you could see as much as another 500 to 1 million square feet. And also, I just quickly want to mention on the slides, we are working with 2 industrial projects. Now, when I say industrial, it's smart technology, innovation, it's not smokestacks. At 2 projects that will bring job opportunities to the city that will be significant for us. And that's working in partnership with UA on their property out at the MAC, and it's also working on property that the City Council has moved for us to purchase out on the kind of the triangle area between Peters and All, Maricopa, Casa Grande Highway, Whiten, Parker, and Hartman. So those are moving forward nicely, and I thought the council and those in the audience might enjoy just a little update on some of the things coming. That's all I have.
Thank you, City Manager Horst. Next, we're going to have call to the public. Anyone wish to speak can come up to address the council. Please state your name for the record. So a few little rules that we have here. First of all, you're going to get 3 minutes to speak. I'll start the timer, and you'll see the little light up there. Let's make sure that we're being kind and courteous to the people inside council here, the council members, city staff, anybody online. Keep your comments, no derogatory comments to any of us, and as you know that we do not speak during these. We can direct you towards staff if there's something that you come to talk about, but please get ready to do so. And the first speaker card that we do have is the lovely Peg Chapados.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Council. I'm here tonight to talk about art. It's a very important economic driver for our city, and as you just heard, every slide that you saw has an element of art in it. But even more importantly, I'm also here to promote and celebrate the wealth of talent that we have here in the art world. I want to remind everybody of a couple of things. This Saturday, the 3rd annual Maricopa Main Street Marketplace Arts and Crafts Show will be held at Leading Edge Academy from 10 to 2. And also, I'm here tonight on behalf of the Cultural Affairs and Arts Committee. It's been a while, but we've brought back the public art display in our Maricopa Library. We've got a call out to the artists. Our theme is on the tails of celebrating our 20th anniversary of a city, Maricopa's Love Story, 20 years and counting. As long as you have a piece of artwork that can be hung, a painting, weaving, photography, whatever it is, we'd like you to contribute, and your artwork will be hung in the Maricopa Library from now through at least the end of January. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have any submissions, so if there's artists out there that are interested, our original deadline was December 4th. We may end up extending that, but we want to see what you love about Maricopa represented visually. We want the citizens to see it, and we want to celebrate everything that's positive about our great city. So if you have any questions, you can go online. It's also included in the Friday newsletter that comes out. Again, it's online applications only. Our committee will be selecting artists and artwork to hang in the library. You also have the opportunity to put it up for sale. So I encourage everybody out there who's an artist or photographer or a weaver or whatever else you have that can be hung on the wall, participate in the call for arts for our next public art display. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peg. Next, we have Pastor Lisa Anderson.
Says a minute.
It's on.
Okay. I want to first say good evening to Mayor Nancy Smith in her absence and to the council. Good to see you. We've been here for 12 years, and you guys are really making an impact, so I just wanted to say that first. I wanted to announce our 4th annual Rock in the Stocking. We've been doing this for 4 years. It started during COVID, and what we started was a drive-through, drive-up. Well, the kids can just stick their stockings out the window, and as they drive through, we fill them. It's a Candyland setup, so they just drive through the maze. It has evolved, and so now we're still doing the drive-through portion, but now we've added where folks can park and get out and enjoy food trucks and shopping. And so it's really one of those things where we saw the need during COVID, but what we realized is that the need is still there. In fact, it's greater than it was during COVID. And so we want to help meet that need. We need your help. Okay, we have donations, and Pastor Tam's gonna talk about that in a minute. But I just wanted to really say my heart here that this is not about, it's Be Community Church sponsoring it, but it's not just about Be Community Church. This is by the community, and it's for the community, and we need the community's help to serve the community.
Okay, so this project is made possible by donations from both local organizations, businesses, and individuals. It is our desire to not only be a blessing to children, but also to the adults that are driving them through. We have been blessed to receive donations from local businesses such as Water and Ice, Honeycut Coffee, Copa Craze, A+, Body Armor Clothing, Dreams Can Live Incorporated, and Leading Edge Academy. We have received donations from Phoenix Children's Hospital and individuals who may have heard about our efforts via word of mouth or social media. This event could not be possible without the help of volunteers and vendors. We have been blessed by JT's Keys and Locks, Amber Lynn's Sweet Treats, Mia's Mini Pancakes, and last year, Maricopa Fire Department. Each year, this event has grown bigger and better, and we would like to continue in that manner. This can only happen with the help of our local community. While it is true that our great city is growing, it is also true the need is as well. According to Luke 12:48, to whom much is given, much is required. As a member of this community, we need your help. You can send over an email to rockinthestockinmaricopa@gmail.com if you'd like to be a blessing or to assist.
And finally, we also want you to know that anybody coming through, it's free. There's no charge. We don't charge anything. And some of the kids really enjoyed, since I have 37 more seconds, some of the kids really enjoyed receiving golden tickets, which we do randomly. And I mean, we've given things away, candy canes, cookies, all of that stuff. But last year we had bikes, scooters, and I mean, people were donating big time. And so I think we can do this, and we don't want to do it by ourselves. We want to do it with the city of Maricopa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you walk away, can you say the email again and spell it for me? I'm horrible at hearing things.
Yes, it is Rockin, ROCKIN, THE, Stockin, STOCKIN, Maricopa @gmail.
We can email it to you as well if you
Thank
like.
you. City Council at maricopa-az.gov. Thanks.
Thank you, ladies. Before we close the call to the public, is there anybody else who care to come up and speak? Okay, we'll close the call to the public. Next is the consent agenda. Council, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now we'll go to the regular agenda from 7.1 to 7.11. Regular agenda. That takes us to the regular agenda. First item on the agenda is to appoint to fill a vacancy on the P&Z Commission. Councilmember Liederman, this is your nomination.
Yes. I'm excited this evening to nominate Robert Brems for my appointment for P&Z. I want to thank Rachel LaFall for serving on P&Z. She is now with META, so she resigned. I want to thank her for her service. Robert Brems, I had 4 really strong applicants for this position, and he stood out because of his very direct answers, vision for the future, professional experience, and passion for Maricopa. He's lived here for a long time, and his family is here, and I'm excited to appoint him tonight. He has served as the chair of the Strategic Planning Committee at ASU Police Department, and he brings a lot of experience. So, Mr. Brems, if you could stand and we could welcome you, so thank you very much. That was a little premature. I have to nominate him.
We knew what you meant.
Sorry about that. So I motion to nominate him as for the position.
Okay, can I get a second for Councilmember Liederman's nomination?
I'd like to second.
Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a point to fill a vacancy on the Senior Advisory Committee. Councilmember Wade, this is your nomination, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate it. I'd like to nominate someone who's been in the community for a number of years and has come to the community and different volunteer activities and just has shown the Maricopa spirit in what he does. He is a man of God that is one of a very endearing. I have a very endearing reason for pointing that out, because I believe that anyone who knows that there is a higher power than him will always look to him for guidance and support. And I look at him as a personal friend as well. I think he will bring a character to the senior, when we've changed that to the Senior Advisory Committee, that I think that they will appreciate, enhance their already strong organization, bring strong leadership, strong consideration to the organization. I think that you will be proud. I'm proud to nominate Pastor David Anderson through the Senior Advisory Committee. Pastor Anderson.
I second.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, may I get a motion to approve?
Yes, she said.
Okay. A second?
She
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Okay, item 8.3 is a public hearing to hear the public's comments regarding a land. Regarding a land use assumption and infrastructure improvements planned for the city of Maricopa. Deputy City Manager Ben Bitterman will present.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. I have the pleasure today to introduce this topic that has been going for a long time. We actually kicked off this process in February of 2022. So it gives you an idea of how much time and effort our staff from across the organization every department is touched by this process as we go through to look at the assumptions of growth and the needs for infrastructure as we move forward over the course of the next 10 years. What we've got before you today is a document that we posted online a little over 2 months ago and have continued to receive public comment over that time. While there's no statutory requirement for us to do such, we have held additional stakeholder meetings with the development community to receive their comments. We'll continue to work with the development community up until we get to the point where we present the final draft to the City Council in January, incorporating some of the comments that we've received through this process. That being said, today's discussion, while we have posted the draft that includes the land use assumption and the infrastructure improvement plan, we also at that time chose to post the applicable development impact fees were all of those assumptions and the infrastructure improvement plan to have been accepted as is. The reason we did that, again, not required by statute, but we wanted to do so in full transparency. That being said, the fees are not part of the discussion today. We're not here to receive public comment on the fees. That's a separate process that will occur after the land use assumption and infrastructure improvement plan. That's such a terribly long name. The LUA and IIP are adopted, should that be in January. After that, it would kick off a process for the development impact fees themselves. And so we tried to do everything that we can to be transparent throughout this process and incorporate all of the comments that are appropriate to do so. With that, I want to introduce Fred Philpott. Fred is the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of LRB Financial Advisors, and they are our consultant on this project, and he'll give a brief presentation prior to the public hearing.
Thank you for having me this evening. If I could find that clicker that was running around. All righty. Yeah, and we're done. Thank you again for having me this evening. Again, my name is Fred Philpott, and great to be here with you at the beautiful city of Maricopa. And I'm going to go through briefly the requirements of the land use assumption and infrastructure improvement plan. As Ben mentioned, I've also highlighted the proposed fees as a result of those assumptions, recognizing those are subject to change and public input. Whoops, did I just turn that off? Okay. I'm trying that, there we go. So as part of this scope, we looked at parks and recreation, libraries, police, fire, and streets. Those are the areas that we're looking at updating as part of this infrastructure improvement plan. The required elements, according to the enabling legislation, include several elements related to defining demand, level of service, and evaluating infrastructure. So the state legislation requires that we look at existing and projected service units for the specific fee elements. So each element that we evaluate or service has a separate demand unit or different demand unit, whether that's calls for service for public safety or trips on the roads or population. We need to look at those variables as we make projections into the future. We then convert those into standard measurements for residential and non-residential development. We then also have to evaluate level of service, looking at both existing and proposed level of service and ensuring that we're maintaining that in the proposed fees that we calculate. We also have to look at the existing system and determine if any excess capacity is being utilized and quantifying that. Beyond excess capacity, we then evaluate the future facilities necessary for growth and ensuring that we're including the appropriate costs associated with that infrastructure, whether that be the infrastructure-based cost or the any property cost, engineering, or other planning-related expense. Then we go through a proportionate share analysis and look at calculating the cost necessary or applicable to new development based on the proposed improvements that we're including in the study, ensuring that we're not looking beyond the 10-year window and that we're looking at additional revenues that may be applicable in the calculation of the fee. as it relates to alternative revenue mechanisms. In addition, we've also evaluated alternative funding. There are some projects, for example, that may have other funding sources, and we've accounted for those dollars as well. As indicated, there's substantial growth anticipated within Maricopa. So over the 10-year period, we're looking at both population and job growth, and that feeds into the analysis and the proposed improvements. We're also looking at non-residential growth and allocating that based on the different land use types, warehousing and distribution all the way to office, and ensuring that we're accounting for growth estimates relative to non-residential development. As a result, we've included proposed infrastructure improvements as indicated for parks and recreation, libraries, police, fire, and streets. I'll note that for fire, we do have 2 service areas, a north service area and a south service area. For all of the other services that we're looking at, it's a combined citywide service area. With fire, only the new facilities are being assessed to that south service area. And again, in summary, here are the proposed fees. Again, this is not part of the land use assumptions and infrastructure improvement plan requirements for the public hearing this evening, but we have provided the calculated fees based on the assumptions we have. Again, recognizing that these are subject to change based on public input and additional feedback we may receive through this public engagement process. Following that, then I have the opportunity to work with staff to make any modifications as necessary to that fee schedule if they're warranted. This is the north service area, and here you can see the south service area, the proposed fees. Slight difference being that fire fee calculation for those 2 service areas. As we look at a comparison, this is just a single family comparison to the other communities that staff provided. You can see here that the proposed fees, the distribution, while different in total, Maricopa's proposed fees, as shown in the previous slides, would not be the highest in some of the comparison communities, but you can see that there is a concentration in specific fee categories compared to other communities. And then if there are any questions with regards to the process, I'm happy to address those, or we can jump to public hearing. Thank you.
Sorry about that. So let me start over. This is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing. I do have 2 speaker cards. Anyone who wishes to speak afterwards, please come up and state your name and do so, and then I will close the public hearing. So the first speaker card I have, and Faye, I apologize if I slaughter your last name, but Faye Swardo on behalf of Pulte Homes. Was I close? Okay, hey, I'll take it.
It's Faye Souders.
Souders,
Yeah.
Whoops, okay.
Nice
I'll get it right
meet
the
you.
next time.
Yeah, no. Good evening, council members, vice mayor. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Faye Souders with the firm Bergen Frakes, Smalling, Oberholzer at 4343 East Camelback in Phoenix. I'm here on behalf of Pulte, and we share the concerns that will be raised by the Home Builders Association, who's the other speaker you have in front of you, regarding the IIP's impact on home affordability. Maricopa, as we heard today, and we heard it is growing, and it's going to continue to grow, and Pulte is part of this growth. It is a nationwide home builder who's purchased and is currently developing El Rancho Santa Rosa. Maricopa is a very attractive location to both home buyers and home builders because of the quality of life and the new exciting opportunities that you spoke of tonight, and the affordability. But what is being proposed is the issue of the impact fee for single-family homes. It's more than doubling. It's doubling over to $13,000, and it's an increase of over $6,000 attributable to roads alone. This is significant, and it needs more consideration and work with, and more consideration and work with staff as well as stakeholders. We've been involved in the stakeholder meetings, we've provided comments, and I think you've also received the letter that you got from my colleague, Andrew Yancey. It provides in that letter further details, but I'm just going to kind of highlight on two tonight. 2 points with the ultimate request for you to provide more time to go through the IIP and the LUA to finalize with staff to finalize the draft. The first point we realize, Pulte realizes and accepts that growth requires new infrastructure. There's no doubt, and impact fees are a tool available to help the city pay for the necessary improvements. This is all within the statute, and that is that growth is supposed to pay for growth. What is also in the statute is that there must be a nexus. What that means is that the impact fees that are being charged cannot pay for overall improvements of the community. The proposed fees must be shown within the IIP to be necessary and beneficial to the development itself. As currently written, the IIP does not clearly demonstrate the required nexus between the growth and the proposed road improvement increase of the fee. The IIP also seems to show, when you look at the calculus and the analysis, that the roads already show sufficient road capacity for projected growth. And I know the roads within Maricopa City, they are congested, but the way that the IIP is written, it shows Maricopa's roadway network is currently only at a 32% capacity. And in 10 years, that roadway usage will just be over half of capacity. If the IIP analysis is correct, we're just curious as to why new roads and fees are being proposed when the road capacity there is road capacity that is being unused as the way the IIP is written. The IIP does supply a list of roads to be improved, and staff provided a map with where the improvements are planning to take place, but further work and information is needed to determine whether these road improvements indeed have a nexus to new growth and should be paid for with impact fees. Pulte is willing to pay for their fair share. We just want to make sure that the new growth alone is not being charged more than its fair share, if that makes sense. The second point I'd like to make tonight is alternative funding sources. The IIP, I think, missed one of the funding sources that can be used in order to reduce development impact fees, and that's the application of the statutorily required excess tax fee. When Maricopa's construction tax rate exceeds the amount of the majority of other tax rates, an offset of the difference must be applied to the development impact fees. Maricopa has a construction contracting tax rate of 3.5%, which is in excess of the majority of the city's transaction privilege tax rate of 2%. This 1.5% must be applied to the capital cost of improvements in the IIP, and this has not been done in the current draft of the IIP, and so we're requesting that that is included and accounted for. This is being done in other jurisdictions as well and across the state. Goodyear was able to utilize the excess tax rate to completely reduce the transportation impact fees. And I have I printed out where that is shown. If you would like to see that, I have copies of that if you'd like to see that. And the city of Maricopa can choose how they want to apply the excess tax. They can apply it across the board, or they can apply it towards one particular bucket per se, like the transportation fee that we're running up against currently. We don't know what the amount at issue is But the IIP does need to take into account those alternative funding sources, and that's to offset or credit the fees before charging new development fees. In conclusion, we're asking the council today to push this out to allow staff additional time to include these key elements within the IIP and work with stakeholders because the current IIP was adopted in November of 2019. The 5-year deadline does not expire until next November. We have time. It gives about a year for staff to work through these details and work together with stakeholders to make sure that the nexus is there to development and the proportionality is there.
Okay, Ro, I'm sorry. I have to cut you a little shorter then, okay?
That is it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Next speaker card is James Ashley. And I'm sorry, Ro, that I got his name right.
Maybe a little bit easier. Well, good evening, Vice Mayor Vitiello, members of the council. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. For the record, my name is James Ashley, here on behalf of the Home Builders Association of Central Arizona. We appreciate this opportunity to express our concerns in our current opposition to the currently drafted Infrastructure Improvement Plan and Impact Fee Study. Generally, we have 4 principles that are used when evaluating proposed impact fees. First, whether the ultimate fee payer is the beneficiary of the service for which the fee is assessed. Second, whether the service will be provided in a timely fashion. And third, whether the total cost of the service is distributed proportionally among new users based on the burden that's created. And fourth, whether or not the new user is being asked to pay for more services than existing users. Throughout ARS 9463.05, the legislature, they recognize the reasonable limits on the discretion of local governments in setting impact fees. Unfortunately, as currently drafted, the city's IIP falls short of satisfying these criteria. For example, we don't believe the city is able to demonstrate that the legally required nexus for each street traffic project is included in the IIP. This requires that each development throughout the city creates the need for each specific project included in the IIP, and it also requires that each development will benefit from each individual project. Likewise, the city has not shown that it has satisfied the proportionality requirement for allocating costs between existing and future residents. If these improvements benefit the entire system, as staff has articulated, these improvements will disproportionately benefit existing property owners. The significant increase to the streets fee will also leave the city of Maricopa with a designation of having the highest streets impact fee of any jurisdiction in Pinal County or Maricopa County. We acknowledge and we appreciate the fact that one of the biggest challenges to home building is traffic and congestion. And we reaffirm our commitment to working with staff to ensure that we develop an IIP that addresses these concerns and mitigates traffic congestion with a substantial nexus between the fee and the benefit. Maricopa has a strong tradition of affordable single-family housing for retirees, for families, for young professionals. Our members want to build in the city. However, the current proposal will have the effect of increasing home prices, driven by the proposed impact fees, creating an affordability struggle. We appreciate the previous dialogue with staff, and we're hopeful that this evening the city will direct staff to continue to work with stakeholders, work so that we can address these concerns with the goal of our supporting a proposal that works for the city and works for our members. And with that, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, James. Is there anybody else who would like to come speak on this? Okay, so I'm going to close the public hearing, and this will conclude our session tonight. Thank you very much for coming, and have a great holiday, Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if you don't see you.